Imagine sending your children to school and them coming home daily to tell you about the disruptive child in class, the child who's having outbursts daily, the child who can't keep their hands to themselves, and a child who is constantly being threatened to go to the principal's office. This is the reality in many of today's classrooms. Today's classrooms are based on inclusion. There is a large emphasis of placing children in general ed classes, regardless of their behavior or learning challenges. Children are to have access to an equal education that is in the least restrictive environment, but at what cost? Is it entirely fair to general ed students to have the integration of behavioral and learning challenged students in the classroom? I firmly believe children who have these challenges belong in classrooms specifically for them, with staff that have proper training to serve them and their learning. This would include teachers who have vast knowledge in conditions such as ADHD and ODD, which is a prime issue with the students that have behavioral issues. For school systems who have an extensive budget, having inclusion classes can work because they're able to afford to pay for that crucial support staff such as paras or RBTs. However, placing these children in general ed classes without proper support can lead to them feeling isolated and frustrated, which then can increase their behaviors. Take a small town like the one I live in, and you will not get the same staffing that is needed for these children due to budget cuts. I'm a one-on-one parent in the first grade at our local elementary school. When I started in the teacher's classroom, I could sense a wave of anxiety that was radiating from her. When I asked her if she had experience with special ed students, her response was astonishing. She had no special education schooling, training, or experience, and was forced to become an inclusion teacher with no support from admin and the other first grade teachers. She was forced to take on not one, but 4 children that had either behavioral issues or language issues. We had one student who was basically 100% nonverbal, needed a full communication device. That means this teacher had to then learn how to use this device to communicate with the student. And she then had the student that I work with, who is somewhat verbal, but very hard to understand. He has speech services that he does have to go to, and his progress has definitely gotten better, but at the beginning of the year, she could not understand a single word that he was saying, along with 2 behavioral children who were not giving paras or RBTs. Imagine that, your second year out of college, no experience with these children, and there's 4 in your classroom and you're just expected to figure it out. How is that what's best for all children involved? General education classes are meant to meet the needs of the majority of the students. When students with behavioral issues are placed in general ed classes, their disruptive behavior affects all of their classmates' learning. These students take away from crucial academic time from their classmates. According to an article, Has Inclusion Gone Too Far?, Alison Gilmore states that there's not enough research that shows enough raw data on how inclusion affects general ed students. A study done by David Wessling said that out of 70 teachers that were polled, most felt that the behaviors from students had adverse effects on them. Many also stated that they did not have proper support or training to help these children best succeed. Take a student in my class, for instance. This child, on a daily basis, interrupts our learning time on an average of about at least 100 times throughout the day. Now imagine that, 100 times of the teacher having to stop her lesson to correct or redirect this child's behavior. The general ed students are then having precious time wasted from their learning. People who believe that this is the best approach to integrate these children in general ed classes say it's beneficial to gen ed students. According to the National Library of Medicine, students learn to respect each other, accept children with other differences, and acknowledge different abilities. I feel like this can be done in other ways that do not affect the general ed students' crucial learning time. Recess and going to specials such as art and music is a great time to integrate these students to learn from one another, but not during crucial learning time. We need to give children the opportunity to thrive, and for many with learning and behavioral challenge, general ed classes is not going to give that to them. They will not thrive in an environment where a teacher cannot individualize their learning for them. They will, however, thrive in a classroom that is specialized for them with a proper staff, attention directed at them, and most importantly, consistency and follow through to help correct their behaviors or help expand on their learning. This can more easily be obtained in a specialized classroom with teachers who have experience for these students, who know exactly what they need, and not with a teacher who has no experience and is just winging it at giving these children the best education.